Good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. This is Robert coming to you live from East Africa. It is 8:40. We're glad that you've been able to join us. We have been taking you through a journey called preventive medicine, hoping that you are learning and you are doing something to change your life. So last time we talked about a little bit about diabetes. Actually, the previous episode 5, we talked about diabetes and we explained to you the symptoms of diabetes, which is polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia, which basically means that you're urinating a lot, you're eating a lot, and you're thirsty a lot. And we explained why. So today we will go a little bit further because, interesting or sadly enough, there are people who do not even know that they have diabetes, and the only way that they're going to know that they have diabetes is when they have the diagnosis as noted on the title, which is called DKA, or diabetic ketoacidosis, or hyperosmolar hyperglycemic state. It sounds complicated, but it's very simple. It is a result of what we explained last time, that when your blood sugar is so high in the vascular system, in the pipes, remember we call blood vessels pipes, so if you can visualize that, when the sugar is there, it creates what we call osmotic pressure, meaning it pulls water from your muscles, and that water basically hangs out in the pipes, and those pipes have a limit. So, and when they, water keep rising as a result of blood sugar or too much sugar in the vascular system pulling water into the vascular system, what happens is that you end up creating all these processes, or that sugar creates all these processes that are dangerous. So anyway, the sugar hangs out in the vascular system, is supposed to go to the cells, so the cells are not getting the energy that they need, and somehow they have to continue surviving. So what does the body do to get energy in an environment where the sugar is not getting into the cell because it is stuck in the vascular system because there is either inadequate insulin or there is no insulin? So the body will turn into digesting fat or adipose tissue, and as a result of that, what happens, it's the cells are able to get energy excuse me, but the problem is that alternative source of energy leaves a byproduct called ketones, and they're acidic, so they make your blood acidic. And without getting so much technical, the blood operates, or the hormones and enzymes operates within a very specific pH level, which is 7.35 to 7.45. And as you get acidic, so you end up having some of the symptoms that will be described in diabetic ketoacidosis, and which includes, because of that acidosis, what the body thinks is, I need to reduce the acid in the body. And since the carbon dioxide coming from your cell into towards your lung comes in what we call weak carbonic acid, the body thinks the only way to, or the easiest, quickest way to be able to reduce this acid is by hyperventilating, or breathing fast. We actually have a unique name, we call those cosmos breathing. And so the body, when somebody has diabetic ketoacidosis, will be breathing fast and deep, and interesting enough, because of those ketones, if you smell their breath, they will also be smelling, their breath will be smelling a little bit fruity. It does not take, sadly, it takes about 24 hours to actually develop diabetic ketoacidosis. And this is where, again, I was saying it's sad, because if this person is not discovered or does not realize that there is actually a major problem, and some of the symptoms will be the previous day, or the previous week, or around that time, they've been thirsty, excessively thirsty, and they're eating a lot. If that person does not realize those are symptoms of diabetic ketoacidosis, they actually can get into a coma. We call it diabetic coma, where somebody seemingly did not have any problem going on with them because they don't realize these symptoms. The 3 symptoms are indication of that they are sick. So they'll go to sleep, they will sleep, and sadly enough, they actually might sleep and not wake up. And that's what we're teaching you, how dangerous when you have diabetes, whether you know it or you don't know it. if you have these symptoms and you have no idea what they mean, they could lead you into a coma and death. And you'll be saying this person did not have any symptoms. They actually had symptoms, it's just that you missed them. Sadly enough, if they go to the hospital, which is a good thing, but they will probably go straight to ICU. Why? Because, like I said previously, they are severely dehydrated. The other thing is that their electrolytes are off balance. One of the things that will also be very high in their body is potassium, because insulin also tells, as it tells sugar to get into the cell, it also tells potassium to get into the cell. And so when there is no insulin, or there is inadequate insulin, one of the things that accumulates in your vascular system is potassium. That's why you will go into ICU, they will hook you up into a drip that is giving you insulin, which is inadequate or is lacking. They will also hydrate you because you're severely dehydrated. They will, on top of that, you can get into a place whereby your potassium is so high, it's dangerously high that it can cause your heart to beat out of rhythm. And they will hook you on dialysis. Not that anything is wrong with your kidney, but at this point that your potassium is so high that is deemed that is necessary for you to have dialysis to remove the excess potassium that is accumulating as a result of not having adequate insulin or having no insulin, which again is all the symptoms and the signs are related to diabetic ketoacidosis. When it comes to HHS, which is hyperosmolar, hyperglycemic state, which is kind of the same with diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA, but the slight difference is that you're not going to, with this other state where the sugar is too high in your vascular system that is pulling sugar into, that is pulling water into that vascular system and it making you urinate a lot and causing you to be dehydrated, is that there are no ketones, or significant ketones, and therefore the blood is not very acidic. The other, differences including the possibility of developing another condition where, because the blood is so viscous, it can actually start clotting, and that can also lead to things like heart attack. Where did this all begin? It began with blood sugar that is high. Why is it high? Again, I like always mentioning in the ending of our episode that is as a result of how we are eating. So if you're eating food that is so, especially like so high in sugar, it's or liquid sugar, that's what I call it, juices, sodas, then you're overworking your pancreas and you're eating more food than you need, and part of how the body tucks away that food to use in the future is by piling up on your body, and so you become either overweight or obese. Some of the diagnoses are going to be coming is diabetes, with diabetes, diabetic ketoacidosis, and hopefully we've been able to explain how that can lead into diabetic coma, and how you can end up in ICU for something that a lay person would be thinking that the person going to ICU don't look like they're very sick. And this is how dangerous diabetes can be. So what should you do? We'll continue educating you on this diagnosis and complications. Reason being, because if you can understand that, then you will be able, when we come to how you're supposed to be preventing this and how you're supposed to be reversing this, then you're going to be paying attention, because it's sad that people will only respond to something that have immediate danger, and diabetes and high blood pressure, sadly, it's not something that people think is that dangerous, and our goal is to change that. So again, my name is Robert. If you like what we're doing, you can look at the book Dollar Altar, which again is available to you on Amazon.com. And if we also would like to hear your feedback. Thank you for those of you who encourage us. Share the video widely as much as you can. Again, so we can be able to educate people on how dangerous some of these things can be, so that they can take them seriously. If they're on prescription, then they can be able to not skip some of these things. But our goal is to do description that keeps you from prescription. And if you're on prescription, to help you better take care of yourself. Again, my name is Robert. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening. All good morning, depending on who you are on this world. Adios.